I'm Weronika. I'm a part of Digital Toucan, and today I wanted to tell you a bit about a goal-setting methodology called OKRs. So, let's start with a quick question. What do you think all these companies have in common? Any guesses? Most likely, and they also use OKRs. And they are quite big companies, right? So, next question. On this chart you can see the trend line of search terms, OKR-related search terms. And you can see those spikes that happen every year. What do you think it is? Close. It's the beginning of every year. So every year, people search for OKR-related search terms a bit more. And as you can see, the overall trend line is growing. So every year, people are more and more interested in using OKRs. And why is that? Because, 4 reasons. First of all, OKRs improve the focus of the companies. Because you decide not only what you will do, but most importantly, what you will not do. So in that way, you can prioritize better your work. Motivation. So OKRs engage people in their work by giving the ownership and a sense of making an impact on the company, because people can see how they work, what they do daily, how it impacts the overall strategy of the company and what the company achieves as a whole. They also bring more clarity and transparency to companies because they are easy to track, easy to review. You can see the progress very clearly. And they are agile, so they are an iterative process and they are focused on collaboration. So probably you heard the term of OKRs, but I wanted to kind of explain how they work a bit. So you have the company strategy, right? And that can be set for a year or a few years. But OKRs enable you to break it down into smaller goals. And by doing that, they are easier to achieve and more focused. So you set the objectives, and objectives are aspirational goals. They can be something like expand our business, right? So this is kind of the generic company level objective. And there are also the key results. So key results are the metric that you track over the course of a quarter. Right, so they are measurable. They are the things that they are the metrics that you report the status on. So there can be things like launch operation into new markets, increase yearly recurring revenue, or launch a new product. And then you have the initiatives. So initiatives are the work that you do daily that helps you achieve the key results. So by now you may know a bit about OKRs, but you don't know how to actually do them. How do we do OKRs? So let me tell you a story about Steve. So Steve is a product manager in a 300 people tech company, and they observed that, well, product team is not doing so well lately. And they have some problems with collaborating with engineering team because they have a problem with choosing their priorities. They are also blocking the marketing team a bit, like from every now and then. And because of that, the company is not doing so well, so the C-levels are not very satisfied with the performance on a team level right now. So Steve is not in the best shape right now. So Steve, as a smart guy, he decided to, well, do OKRs in his team, right? he thought that maybe by implementing OKRs in his team, maybe it's going to improve something, and maybe then, if that works out, he's going to tell the C-levels to implement OKRs in the whole organization. So he told the C-levels to, well, why don't we try to use OKRs? And C-levels said, yeah, let's do it. Because it's like low risk, high gain potentially thing to do it only one team, so why don't we try it? And so they did. They set together the product team, and they came up with their OKRs. As you can see, they've set 3 objectives with 2 to 3 key results each. I would say it's a perfect set of OKRs for one team, very easy to track, easy to follow. And, well, Steve implemented also the OKR practices. So things like OKR reviews, weekly meetings, etc., etc. And they decided to set those OKRs for 2-month periods as a start to try out the system, right? So at the end of the 2 months, and also they decided to connect the things that they do in Jira to the key results to help them better understand how their work relates to the OKRs they've set. So by the end of the quarter, this is what they got. So as you can see, in the objective number 1 and 3, they did a pretty good job. They achieved the objectives almost perfectly, but something went wrong in the objective number 2. And we can dive deeper into what went wrong. So you can see that for the first 4 weeks, almost nothing happened on the progress chart, right? So this is most likely the case when people were focused on doing objective number 1 and 3 and did nothing on the objective number 2. And they said that, okay, we are focusing our priority somewhere else, so we are not going to do anything about that. We're going to take care of that later in the periods. But somewhere in the middle of the quarter, you can see the yellow dots on April 24th. They realized they are kind of at risk because it's the middle of the quarter and they did nothing. So then you can see the little spike, right, on the chart. Some work did happen. But then it was after the middle of the quarter, they were heading towards the end, and they realized, well, we won't do anything about that anymore. We are kind of off track. It's just not going to happen. This is not the worst situation, I would say. They achieved 2 out of 3 objectives in their first quarter, but they can take some learnings for the future from that. They also decided at the end of the quarter to look at how they performed, choose the last status, grade the OKRs, because it's also the part of the OKR culture to grade your OKRs at the end. And then Steve decided to present a report out of that process to the C-levels to describe them, how they performed, how they did, and maybe if they want to do something about it. And Steve's conclusions were that product team did improve their focus and they delivered 30% more work compared to the previous months. They could actually measure that they delivered more work because, they connected the tasks to key results, and by that they could see how much work they did deliver. Having clear goals, it helped them to collaborate better with the other teams. And the team were overall more engaged in their work. So, And also, the conclusion was to maybe next time set the goals for 80%, not to aim for completing it in 100%. Because maybe by doing so, they would have also more time and more energy for all of the OKRs, and they could maybe instead of achieving 0% in one of them, they could do maybe 20-30%, still better. So Steve reported that to the C-levels, and C-levels, well, they did like it. So Steve said, well, okay, so that went well in the product team. Why don't we roll it out across the whole organization? And C-levels said, yeah, sure, let's do it. You're going to be the OKR champion now. And you're going to help other teams roll it out, do some workshops, teach them how to set your OKRs. And Steve did that. Here you can see what they came up with. So they came up with OKRs on all levels, so company level, department level, then down to team levels. And, well, that's where my story about Steve company kind of ends. But OKR process, it never really ends. It's an iterative process where you can, like each quarter, you can look back, reflect, see what went wrong, what went well, improve both the process, the OKRs you set, the targets, the work that you do that is aligned to the OKRs. And it's a collaborative thing, right? So every quarter we get a new chance to do some awesome stuff together, to get even a better sense of getting in one direction as a company, moving forward, achieving better goals, better business results. Yeah, so that's how OKRs can help with that. And I wanted to leave you with a quote that's very into the Agile and OKR spirit. It's by Japanese writer Yunosuke Satoru. Individually, we are one drop, and together we are an ocean. So that was the OKRs. If you would have any questions about OKRs in general, or the software that we do for the OKRs, we are there at the Digital Toucan booth, and I will answer any questions you may have. So, thanks.